JT here from So I Married a Record Collector, and we are headed out of town for today. We live in kind of a touristy, packed area, especially this time of year, 4th of July weekend. There's a big festival that we try to avoid for the most part. So we're going to be headed a little bit down south from us, and we know of a few antique stores, thrift shops, that type of thing that we found records before. So we're going to try to hit them up again and see if we can find anything today. So it's a really nice day out, and we'll show you some of the places that we're going to be kind of passing by on the way. So come along with us. happens.
Welcome to Michigan.
We're going to take this across and go record shopping in Wisconsin.
Sure.
Madison's a really great town for music shopping. Madison's a great town in general. I really liked when we saw Ray Davis. Well, I saw Ray Davis there.
hideelee 1450 and 92.7, playing the super hits that were made to sing
It's a
along
really
with.
big boat. I think that just said it was from Wisconsin.
Yeah, when we get down here, we get to Wisconsin. Is that recording our voices?
Yeah, but I can mute it.
So did we just leave Michigan momentarily?
Yeah, where were we? All right, we are back in the So I Married a Record Collector / In the Red World headquarters. And I hope you enjoyed our little jaunt down to the Manistee, Ludington area. We used to do those trips kind of really very often, and lately it's been like every couple months or so. So when we do that, we'll try to take you along. I think next week we're probably going to be staying in town and going to some of our usual haunts in the area very close to our place. So we'll take you along on those too. Let us know what you think of these types, and we'll do more if they seem like something you might want to see. So anyway, we're just going to go through our most recent vinyl purchases since the last time we did a recent purchases video. And I'm going to start off with the one thing I bought from Record Store Day. We don't usually do Record Store Day unless there's something that we absolutely is just a must-have on the list. And this time around, there really wasn't anything. There was a few things that we'd, kind of like to have, but it wasn't a have-to-have type of situation. We went in and we looked around the week after Record Store Day, and I was kind of having my eye on this and thinking, oh, I'd like to have it, but I'm not sure, and I ended up leaving the store without it. And while I was sitting in the car and we were kind of deciding what we were going to do next, I was looking on eBay, and I just for curiosity's sake looked up this record and saw that it was being sold for $60 or more. And the $31 that it was priced at our local record store, I said, John, would you mind running in and just grabbing that for me? Because I know I'm going to regret it if I don't. So I got the Royal Tenenbaums soundtrack, special Record Store Day release. There was only one left, so I know that if I didn't pick it up, I was going to be regretting it. I do enjoy Wes Anderson movies, do really like the Royal Tenenbaums movie. To me, Wes Anderson is kind of like Quentin Tarantino in a way, as far as the music in the movies being about as important as the dialogue and the action. I mean, they have a way of putting music into their films that makes it extra moving. And for me, Wes Anderson is just a master at that. And I don't know if he's really in charge of picking the songs or setting the tone, of course, is the director's prerogative. So this is just a really good compilation of songs in general. It's got Nico, Emmett Rhodes, who I love, The Clash, The Ramones, Nick Drake, Nico again, and of course all the original music is done by Mark Mothersbaugh of Devo fame. And it was just really, I feel good about this. Didn't have a lot of buyer's remorse for going in and for having John running back in and grabbing this for me. So I'm just happy to have this in my collection now. Looking into seeing if other Wes Anderson movies are on vinyl or have any special releases like that. I saw a compilation, I believe it was a 2 LP set of different artists covering songs that were done in Wes Anderson films, but the price tag was upwards of $50, and I thought, well, for that, I think I might go the CD route with that. But So really happy to get this one. I also went down the rabbit hole on the the group, the First Aid Kit, the duo actually, and I ended up ordering the Lion's Roar. I found it on Amazon for a really reasonable price, brand new. Really fantastic album. There's the gatefold. I mean, the album cover itself and all that came in good condition, but the problem is that it came from, it wasn't an Amazon seller. It actually said Amazon warehouse, and they packed it, I should use that term very loosely, in just a bag. Not even a bubble wrapped protected bag. It was just kind of in a bag, and you know, of course the mailman just kind of threw it by the door. And it was really disappointing because when I played it, I noticed that it had some warp to it, and that was just kind of a bummer. It plays fine. I don't have any complaints with that, but I mean, I bought it brand new. I kind of expect it to be in brand new condition. Nothing against the album. The album is phenomenal. I love these girls. I love their singing. I mean, I used to sing, so I can really appreciate, definitely not as good as them. I can appreciate the full, rich, layered vocals. And if you enjoy that kind of music, kind of folksy, kind of Americana roots, but just a very full sound. I can't really explain it any other way, except it's just a very rich, full sound. And I'm looking forward to anything new that they're going to come out with, and also just picking up all of their prior discography as well. And then Norton Records has had a summer-long 50% off sale, and in our collection and the things we play on the show, we do a lot of Norton Records albums and things that they have released. So John happened to mention to me that they were having their 50% off sale, and of course I went out there and snapped up some things while I could. The three albums that I ended up getting, I got the Del Shannon Moving On Over record. This is kind of when he was really into, you know, the rock of the time. Stranger in Town, Moving On Over, of course. He does Handyman, that song that James Taylor kind of made popular, and Keep Searching. Just, you know, a fun record. Can't wait to listen to that. I also got Mary Weiss from Shangri-Las. Love the Shangri-Las. So there's no reason why I couldn't enjoy Mary's solo record that she put out in 2007. It's been that long. Don't own this on any other format, but for the price and just, I know it's got to be quality if it's on Norton, so happy to pick that up too. And the 2LP Alex Chilton Ocean Club 1977 set, super affordable pickup, just had to grab it. Love that he's wearing his Big Star shirt on the back. I want a shirt like that. Where'd you get that, Alex? But of course he does a lot of Big Star songs on here. September Girls, In the Street, Oh My Soul. Just looking forward to listening to this as well. And then for our little trip downstate, well, not really downstate, kind of to the edge of the state and south of us, at Marianne's Antiques, I believe, I picked up some records from their little record room in the back. They have a seller there that has always had records ever since we've been going there, and it has kind of an eclectic collection. I picked this one up rather cheaply because I just think Trini Lopez is just bundles of fun. This is another one of those at PJ's recorded live albums. He does Oh Lonesome Me, Walk Right In. I think he's a good singer, and I think it's just fun records on Reprise, early 60s. The Reprise label there. And I just, you know, people might think it's corny or silly or whatever, but I think Trini Lopez is just fun. Also for fun, grabbed this Stars on long play. I know that they had those Stars on 45s, but this one is a long play LP. It has the you know, all of those 70s songs that they put into that disco format. Of course, again, ABBA medley, Star Wars. It's just silly, silly, fun stuff. And I couldn't pass it up because, oh, and it's 2. So there was probably a previous one there as well. So gotta love it. I got another Fix album. This one is Walkabout. Really enjoying the Fix and grabbing their records as I see. Yeah, that's a good one. Haven't listened to these yet, so I don't have a whole lot to say about the ones that I haven't listened to, but I'm just showing you them quickly. And I found the other Jerry Harrison album. This one is called Casual Gods, and this is actually still sealed. They had like 2 copies of this still sealed there for $10 each. Didn't think that was a bad deal. And relatingly, they also had another, they had a couple Tom Tom Club LPs there for a little bit more, still sealed as well. So that section also has the new old stock. Love that little sticker on there. Give the gift of music. And then after we had a quick early dinner, late lunch at a really nice, turned out to be a really awesome Italian restaurant in downtown Ludington, we stopped at another antique mall and picked up only one record, but this is just another fun album. Danny Davis and the Nashville Strings play instrumental versions of the Herman's Songbook. I'm not a huge Herman's Hermits fan. I did see Peter Noon in concert in, I think, 2000 or 2001 with Mickey Dolenz and Bobby Sherman in one of those Teen Idol tour type shows. And he's a good personality. I mean, he will make you like some Herman's Hermit songs if you don't already like them, if you see him in concert. And some of them, you know, super cheesy 60s pop, but Herman's Hermits, like the museum album, is actually really, really good. So it was kind of cool to pick up this record, and we tend to use these as musical backgrounds or beds on our radio show. So it was cool to pick these up. I noticed that they do For Your Love. And then the, you know, I'm Henry VIII, I Am Mrs. Brown, Can You Hear My Heartbeat, I'm Into Something Good, Wonderful World. So just some fun stuff. Haven't listened to it yet, but does seem a bit promising. This is on MGM. Really clean, very new looking. So yeah, we had a good little trip. Didn't pick up a ton of records. John has some to show. But yeah, it was another good trip, and we added some things to our collection. Picked up a few magazines too. I am a vintage magazine collector as well. Found some McCalls that I really like, and a 1980 Montgomery Ward Christmas catalog, which was very fun to look at. We looked at that last night. So I will pass the camera now on to John to show you his recent vinyl pickups.
Hi everyone, JT here, the record collector of Sawyer Meyer Record Collector. Time to my recent purchases of the past few days and weeks. Start off with a few eBay purchases. As I said in a previous video, big fan of all the Beverly Hillbillies, Petticoat Junction, Green Acres records, shows. And I was having to eBay search the guy who sings the Ballad of Jed Clampett, Jerry Scoggins, who is a Western star, singer and everything. And I happened to find this. This is a 7-inch, 33 RPM record called The Trucker, put up by the 3M company. What it is the song from a commercial for their graphics that they put on tractor trailers. It's obviously late 60s, early 70s. Like I said, 7-inch, 33 RPM, sung by the guy who sang the Ballad of Jed Clampett. Cool artwork, cool inner sleeve. It's the song from a commercial that was shown at the time. As a bonus, I don't know if the seller knew this was in here, a small flexi disc for the Tyrex Corporation, Ballad of Buck the Trucker, and he should have had Tyrex, which I think are their tires for trucks. So that was something interesting to find. Next up, online friend, I've been an online friend for years, hit me to this one. You all know the song Treat Her Right by Roy Head. This is a later single of his called Ain't Going Down Right on Mercury, backed with Lovin' Man on Your Hands, lovin' spelled wrong. This is interesting because it's written and arranged by Doug Sam of the Sir Douglas Quintet. Next up, this is I guess you call them a neo-glam band out of Italy that have been going for a few years. I'm probably going to mispronounce this because I've never heard it mispronounced. They're called Giuda, I think, Giuda. This is a limited edition single. They pretty much did a note-for-note cover of both sides of Elton John's Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting single. They even replicated the original Dick James music label. This was a limited edition through Damaged Goods. This might be a case of a band taking a song that hideelee and I are sick to death of and never liked in the first place and turning it into a really great song. These next two were gifts from a listener of ours down in Florida who's up here for the summer, Daytona Dave. He knows I like old cars and I'll buy automotive records. He sent me a Chrysler Plymouth Division 1971 theme music, 33 1/3 7-inch. This side has an instrumental and vocal of the theme called Coming Through. And the other side is just the whistling, says vocal and whistle theme for voiceover, so if you make your own. And this one, I figured out, is actually listed on 45 Cat. It says compliments of Bergeron Plymouth, which were out of New Orleans. The A side is a Cajun retelling of The Night Before Christmas called It Don't But One Night Before Christmas, while the other side is selected radio commercials for the dealership, so that's cool. And then this, I'm going to play on our show this coming Friday because it's 4th of July weekend. This is from 1976. It's Ricardo Montalban doing a spoken word thing called America on the MMI label, which I think might be the only release. This wasn't even on 45 Cat, so I had to add it. Whoop-de-doo. Says it's from an LP called American in Love with His Country, and I can't find any evidence that this album was ever released. That's something goofy to have. Then from the local Emporium, a few days ago, actually this one first, we went to an estate sale. This was $2 and change. Lou Christie, Painter of Hits, I believe from 1966. I only know his two songs, Two Faces Have I and Lightning Strikes, because they were huge on oldies radio back on the East Coast. You couldn't go a day without hearing them. But this should be interesting to listen to. He does covers like Elusive Butterfly, Everyone's Gone to the Moon, Rhapsody in the Rain. Everybody loves Lou Christie. Then from a local shop, I saw this in there in the comedy section. I went back to get it. This originally came out in '59, and it's hard on Discogs to follow its release history. This seems to be a combination of two. I don't know, Warner Bros. Messed up. Spike Jones, it says Spike Jones and Hi-Fi, a spectacular and screaming sound, because, you know, late 50s, early 60s, kids were all nuts for Universal monsters. But on the back, it says Spike Jones in stereo. And what was interesting about this is it's a release, a reissue, repress, later issue from 1970 on the Green Warner's label. No mention of Seven Arts. Yeah, I know Spike Jones was popular with folks, and he recorded for a number of labels, mainly RCA, but I was surprised to see that this was a 1970 pressing, so this should be fun. All kinds of goofy monster-related tracks on here. About 2 weeks ago, hideelee and I came across the Sylvester Stallone classic Over the Top on one of the local channels and watched it. And it made us watch, had a cheap DVD of his film with Billy Day Williams called Nighthawks. And I saw some other vinyl community member on here show the soundtrack.
TC Cat. Yeah,
TC Cat. And I happened to find it in our local Emporium. The music's done by Keith Emerson. It's a die-cut cover with a inner sleeve with pictures from the film. I thought it'd be cheesy, but it's not. It's like Keith. It's actually pretty good. In fact, the one track I wanted it for was for in a discotheque scene. Keith Emerson and musicians are doing a version of Spencer Davis Group's "I'm a Man." This was on Backstreet, distributed by MCA from '81. Actually, not bad, not cheesy at all. And then also found one of my favorite bands from back home. Friends of mine, good friends of mine, turned me on to them when I started hanging out with them. These are the Flesh Tones with their album Flesh Tones vs. Reality from 1987 on Emergo, distributed by Roadrunner. have a CDR of this somewhere, so it's nice to finally have a copy. I'll have to refamiliarize myself with this because I don't remember all the songs, although I know they cover that soul R&B song from the 70s, Treat Her Like a Lady. Cornelius Brothers and Rose, I believe. And then yesterday, as hideelee probably filled you in, we took a nice trip down to the Ludington, Manistee area. In Manistee, we went to an antique store. And in the back room, there's a record room and pop culture room. And the first time we went there, when the record room was there, the guy who runs it was there. And it turns out he worked for Iris Records in Jersey City, a record store I knew about but had never been to. But he knew about Izzy, so it was kind of neat to meet somebody from Jersey up here. But we went in there yesterday. Well, we both got a bunch of records. And there was a very small box of 45s, like a little crate. And I didn't expect to find anything, so that's probably, crap hits. First thing I pull out, boom, Sounds of Goodbye by the Gosden Brothers on Capitol promo, 50 cents. It's not worth a lot of money, but this is a cool record. And it's just a weird coincidence because a friend of ours on our station who has a country music show, last Sunday morning, he played a Gosden Brothers song. And it made me remember, hey, I need to get that Sounds of Goodbye CD on Big B. And I found a cheap copy on eBay and ordered it. Then yesterday, I just, by chance, find the original single. Really great early country rock. Wasn't a hit back then because reviews say it was too country for rock fans, too rock for country fans, but very influenced by the Byrds. In fact, the Gosdens, Vern, I think, worked with some of the Byrds, and Chris Hillman is on some of these things, helping produce and stuff. This is produced by Gary Paxton, though. And then mainly I picked up some comedy records and weird stuff. This one, Dave Gardner, or as he's more commonly known, Brother Dave Gardner, a friend of ours at this station, Ted Allen, gifted me a bunch of his RCA Victor records. His comedy, early 60s, like a beatnik Southern preacher type. This is a later one from 66. It's just called Hypocrisy, and it's on Tower Records. And I'm kind of a sucker for things on Tower, because Tower was Capitol subsidiary label where they put everybody who's maybe too freaky to be on the main label and stuck them on Tower. And there's just something about the cheapness of the label design and everything that just attracts me. It's called, like I said, it's called Hypocrisy. The cover art's done by Paul Frees, which I guess maybe that famous voiceover guy, voice actor. And in the back, it just says, "Excuse me," and each side is just one long track. Interesting backstory to that guy, which I'm really not going to go into. This next one, this is Marshall Efron with the Neutrino News Network. Marshall Efron was kind of a comedian, actor. I should have maybe looked him up before I got on here, but we'll figure it out. I've seen him in a few things, movies and TV shows. And I think it was on Amazon Prime. He had some PBS show in the early 70s called The Great American Dream Machine that I remember because it had a segment about Ed Big Daddy Roth. But this is on Polydor from 1972. I guess it's a joke, parody, mock radio broadcast. It says Neutrino News Network from Abismo, New Jersey. There's no such town of Abismo. At least I don't think so. But that's him there. I guess if you saw him, you'd recognize him. But it's all kinds of weird things in here look interesting, like the news, the mayor's message, the case of the missing neutrino featuring Captain Privilege and Peter Patriot. So it might be a bit dated, but it's like early 70s satire probably. So that'll be interesting to listen to. And it's on Polydor, which I think was just getting a foothold in America. In fact, in one of my books, My White Bicycle by Joe Boyd, he remembers attending luncheon for Polydor Records, and the head of Polydor was German, and he said, they were in New York City, and he said, "I've always wanted to see the New York City ever since I saw the coastline from my U-boat in World War II." And everyone went, Now, All in the Family is a big show in my family, because it's my dad's favorite thing. And Heidi saw this and said, "Oh, I have to get that." But this is actually a serious record. He can't sing, I've heard. Carol O'Connor, Remembering You. And this is on A&M Records from 72. It's got a few dents in it, like somebody, look, at first I thought somebody shot him in the head.
Dartboard.
Yeah, it uses it as a dartboard. Gatefold cover. He sings like standards from the 30s and 40s. Let's see if there's anything I can... Well, one of them is one he wrote called Remembering You, which I think is the end theme to All in the Family. He's also got another one called Carol O'Connor Sings for Old Farts, and it's PHARTS, like an acronym. But yeah, he does, you know, standards, whatever. But there it is on A&M. You know, we always buy television records, but it's you want to call this a golden throw because I think he really can sing. I don't know if Carol O'Connor ever did Broadway. This I bought for the cover, and it might turn out to be cool, but you got to admit, this is a great cover. Lonelyville, The Nervous Beat by the Creed Taylor Orchestra, well-known jazz guy, CTI label later. This is on ABC Paramount. I don't know what year, there's nothing here, but it says it's a dramatic approach to jazz-oriented rock and roll music. Up-tempo, 8 to the bar, boogie woogie. Dick Hyman, the guy who later did some Moog records, is on here. I don't recognize any of the other names, but it's got vibes and bongos. That should be cool. So this might have some real good candidates to put on our show. And oh, I just realized the bottom's split. But
There's a cat on the cover.
Great. Oh yeah, there's one little kitty on the cover. Hideelee pointed out. But yeah, ABC Paramount, black label, no promo. So this should be pretty neat. This I remember us having at our store, Izzy's, and Heidi saw it and said, "What in the hell is that?" But this may, I haven't listened to it yet. This may be, or it may have some bubblegum gems. The Clowns with a K. Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus tried to get into having a pop band part of their empire.
Or Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah, this came out on RCA. It must obviously early 70s. Produced by Jeff Barry, who did you know, lots of Andy Kim and Heidi Lee's least favorite Monkees record, Changes. But he also did Monkey stuff in '67. He did New York sessions. Gatefold Sleeve. Holy crap. Yeah. Nightmare Fuel. But the thing is, I think it's him here. That's the actor Barry Bostwick. He was in this group. I don't know how much of the actual singing they do, but RCA, the old time, the 70s, dull orange label. So maybe this has some gems. I don't know. I didn't look at the songwriting credits if there's any people we recognize. Mainly Barry, Souls Albright, Barry Bloom, Bobby Bloom, Nick Vinay, somebody named Goldberg. So it has to be New York based. But yeah, The Clowns with a K goes next to my Harlem Globetrotters record on Kirshner. This I mainly got for the cover, although it might be unintentionally funny. I've seen pictures of this. How to Live With Yourself, What to Do Until the Psychiatrist Comes by Dr. Murray Banks. And what label is this on? This is like some weird independent thing. Mermill Associates. Somebody wrote their name on here, but I can't quite make it out. Copyright 1952, which I don't know if that's correct because I don't remember LPs like this in 1952. At least I never read about them. But it seems to be like comedy, semi-serious. Dr. Murray Banks tells Jewish story, myth, psychology, the drama of sex, just in case you think you're normal. But yeah, he's from professor of psychology at Fairleigh Dickinson University and at other colleges. But that's Dr. Banks right there. But that cover is great. First I thought it was a Don Martin, but no, that's not Don Martin's style. I'd love to find out who that is. But it belonged to somebody named H. Borden written on it. So that might be interesting, some sound bites.
I wonder if that Slambo guy will know some things about those comedy records too.
Now this one, the cover was already falling apart, and when I took it to the counter and the lady started going through the records, she just ripped it right open. I was like, oh shit. I ended up buying it anyway. This is Learn, Play Bongos with Mr. Bongo Jack Costanza, who made a lot of records that fall into that exotica lounge category. It's on Liberty, late 1950s. This should be fun too. It gives you step-by-step instructions on how to play the bongos. I can get some double-sided tape and get this cover back together. There's all kinds of tricks. It's got the wrong inner sleeve, Columbia, but it's on Liberty. Might be early 60s, maybe early as 1960, 59 maybe. But introduction, I got a bongo. 3 Steps to Heaven, bongo instructions. So that should be fun. So that's all of my recent purchases lately, at least vinyl-wise. And I hope you dug that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all our subscribers. We're up to 256 now. I want to give a shout out to a guy I started watching who's cracking me up. A guy named Square to Circle out in Oregon. His I think him and I might be distant related somehow, because he just reminds me of some of my older second cousins. He's got a bit of a Louis C.K. vibe about him too. He's just funny, down to earth, working class. I don't give a crap what you think. I'm gonna say what I want. His videos just crack me up. Like, he was showing some cassettes recently. He's like, one year we were jamming out the CNC Music Factory. He's like, why? But
I was
funny, just a real funny guy. Check him out when you can. He's up Bend, Oregon, or one of the Oregon.
We'll link below. Yeah,
we'll link you below. Funny guy. And hello to all the other guys we've been enjoying. Steve Carlson, Norman, and all that. JT's Record Room, the policeman. Anyway, enough rambling. Thanks for watching. What I do with my remote. Did you take...
sitting on the side of it?
Oh, yeah, here it is. And we'll see you on the next video.